Tank items and proper game balance are two things that typically don't hang out together at parties because it's a hard problem to solve. You either make the items too strong, to which everyone and their fat Aunt Betty's bought one and are now doing the nay nay in your fountain while you contemplate getting FF15 tattooed to your face because it's a constant state of mind with this game lately, or they don't make them strong enough because other items are so honest that all the damage coming out of them is true. To the point where bruisers are looking at tanks and being like,
anything you could do, I could do better. I can do anything better than you.
but do not fear. Riot's fetish for making new items OP is here, introducing the item that will be solely responsible for countless broken keyboards and self-fisted bungholes in the coming days. Heart Steel, or a Heart of Steel, because Riot's is cold. I don't know, that joke worked more in my head, but this sucker gives you more health than a lifetime supply of V8 juice with regen out the ass and ability haste. But it also has a passive that is essentially a demolish rune, but instead of towers it's on champs, and instead of being balanced it permanently gives you the amount of damage you do as health for the rest of the game. So today I figured I would exploit this bull shizzle to show that tank will finally feel less awkward around others where they don't belong. Kind of like that time I thought I was in poetry club.
My name is Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
It's been 8 months since I-
Okay, I'll go, and I'm not sure why everyone wants to know, but I shotgunned my last White Claw 2 hours ago. It helps me keep up my rhyming flow, so I hope this poetry club is ready to go. Whoa.
I think you have the wrong
Raid. Second word, Shade is an app on Yo Phone, and yes, Raid has paid for me to make sure these features are shown, but the game's everything you could want in a mobile MMO, as you gather champs and gear them up oh so strong. Look how they've grown.
How did he get in here?
Take to the campaign, face the bosses to be slain, build up champ combos that are big brain, to stack up victories and board that loot train. Boo! Updates coming soon. Go to Plarium's spooky site, or click the Raidy Shady link below, enter your raid ID, spin the wheel of fright, and watch the epic prizes come and go. Real life gift cards can be won, or scary champs you better run. Endless prizes, there's a ton, but wait, there's more, I'm not done. Use my link or scan the QR code, to get energy refills, XP shards, the whole load, plus a champ that makes early game easy mode, so try it today and give it a download.
That's it, I need a drink.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Alright, so call me crazy, I thought rocking Puff the Magic Dragon as a tank in the carry role with a blitz to introduce me to my feasts would be good enough to have Reddit mods deleting theory crafts about it off the League subreddit for weeks, but this particular blitz was a few beers short of a 6-pack. Like I was thinking maybe we play a little over the wall grab ass with Boomerang Betty, knowing she started her weaponized frisbee, but I guess he'd rather grab a Dorman Heimerdinger douche instead. And after not even 4 minutes bunking beds with this blitz, it was clear that while a roly golem gathers no rust, this particular one's alcoholic mother wasn't gathering child support from dad, who's been out getting milk for the past 12 years now. But hey, if you weren't stuck laning with an auto-filled orangutan tripping on crystal meth, would this even be league? So I was fine with it, despite my fear that whatever brain cell dyslexia he had would spread to anyone else on my team not following CDC social distance dipshittery guidelines around him. But the joke turned out to be on me, as I got the first case of Delta variant dumbassery. Side note, the Rift's newest edition Caisson was on our team, and for a second I thought he too caught the stupidity going around, but I had mistaken him for a champ not released in the last 2 years. So he walks butt-ass naked into a gunfight and leaves with a sack of cash and a fucking bagel, and I deem it a good time to take my Barney bobbing Michael Jackson Thriller elbows to the Rift equator. Mainly because I wanted to make jokes to their mid laner about always having to surround herself with balls, you know, a little slut shaming, but also because I was quite hungry. That said, this was PBE featuring League players who supposedly qualify to play it by having honor level 3, so the odds of getting a quality game where someone doesn't leave within 5 minutes is less than Blitz's dad coming back saying he couldn't decide between almond and fucking oat milk. But to be frank, I was happy to get out of that shitty random roommate situation and go next. Next being the idea to unload the fat toad as a support, as we opt into planning a surprise party on some unsuspecting shitter, and despite me attempting some high IQ 5-dimensional chess mental games bullshit in chat, the trip up north just turned into a fat waste of time. But here's the thing, I quickly realized that if I did a swan dive Pokemon Diglett style onto gun fetish Billy Joe Armstrong, I could lick him in ways no groupie ever has before, which surely would knock him dead and leave any obese walking chicken statues flashless in their tracks right afterwards. Anyways, I'm gearing up to carry this shit despite the yellow useless thing in my bags getting heavy, which incidentally was of no help to me when I opted into engaging precisely when the bad guys planned to invite company over until bam pop quiz no cheating. Who the fuck is this champ? If you thought this was dear and agree that the amount of Star Guardian fist your asshole money grab skin lines going into this unbalanced game are making champs look like each other, then I respect you and would be okay with you subscribing to this channel. Okay, so the Sped Jedi was in the area, so I figured I would fillet my fat ass up into their business only for him to opt into taking a piss first. All good, take your time, give it a second shake buddy whenever you're ready to make me not look like a dumbass for engaging is cool, and luckily it all worked out and my Frank the Tank pipe dream was starting to take shape. Turns out I do have what it takes to one day be a parent to a League of Legends player and kick their freeloading ass out, as demonstrated by me actually kicking a ward out of my bags, and hey look, he was out and doing good in the world. But unfortunately Legolas's wife made the absolute rookie mistake in this game of playing an ADC, so she's dead, and I can see all the blood flowing into these kids' flaccid wieners at the thought of a dive. But I know I have Calvary and my notifications from Uber Eats, so you can probably imagine how shocked I was when I get gang banged worse than a young Mia Khalifa, only to find that one went home and the other pretended like she didn't see anything. And bait me into thinking you are coming to defend an obvious 4-man dive once, shame on you, but fool me twice, you piece of shit. Master Yi, shame on me, as I feel I deep-throated the archer at an opportune time only for her to decide being the Jonah inside my whale was not for her. So despite feeling like I danced around the divers quite well, she opts into dying instead of being sucked off as the sweaty samurai nabs one kill on the easy gothic target before landing a superb Master Yi fail flash in to make sure the Zed gets fed combo. Question marks are now spawning all over the ground as a way of asking this Diana why in God's piss is she missing in attendance, but lo and behold she comes down after hours to clean the shit up just like her day job as a middle school janitor. But I can't complain or flame because she left Stone Tits McGee for me to kill all to myself. And call me crazy here guys, but I feel like being a fat tanky spanky catfish and knowing that I had my jungler 10 steps from me was the perfect signal to pick a fight and bait them into a losing battle. But this dude was a prime candidate for natural deselection as he just paced back and forth and then went to drag despite the full-blown World War III that I started right in front of his 8 clearly visionless eyes, which long story short ends in Ash taking a dip, me going hyperbiolemic on my chicken dinner and then slaughtering my own regurgitated gargoyle before making like a fart and blowing this shithole unharmed courtesy of the power of Tank Baby. That said, I feel like Yi was always in or near my lane despite never actually fighting or helping with the dishes or the laundry or quite frankly anything useful, but I never learned my lesson. I was always trigger happy with my ground pound and reverse belly flop engage when he was around, and this time he actually responded, which was great as I got aerial banged before letting Jeff Sight live rent free in my mouth for a few moments before evicting him and afflicting him with a bad case of dead bitch syndrome. I then thought of the great idea to collaborate with he who plays Master Yi by laying the groundwork for a quick game of surprise you a dead bitch, but the dear skin of Set must have been sucking off a red buff or something, so I head over for a dank gank angle instead, but my ADC dies early because that's just what ADCs do, leaving me to find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a dead Aphelios as I struggle to digest him and end up spitting him out towards safety just to give the little shitter hope before we slay him. This is the final funding I need to buy my Heart of Steel broken bullshit of a new item as my first buy, and I immediately use it to dive into Pinky Prince of Persia's set and let him grab my fat catfish ass and feel him up in the air before charging up my first demolish attack and then unloading it on the wrong target. But it's worth noting I already have 50 more permanent health and I can basically sit in the middle of the danger zone until dessert time, which in this case is a bruleed stone with a gold wing garnish, and I got out with ease. But shout out to this asshole for poking the bear, he who spins not knowing that he always wins. And if you couldn't tell from that clip, he was more fed than a delivery truck with a logo ending in EX on it, so we assign his demise as a group project as things get shaky, but Dirty D lands an ult worthy of making me cream pie my tighty whities. I find myself acting the role of the fish Mr. Pescatarian set ordered, but I don't intend on letting myself get served, as you can see a flawless execution of me running around doing nothing until the fight finally ends with me crawling out of the ground to grab Gary Gargoyle's gooch from underneath, and with just one fight in the bag I already have 100 more health permanently. There's no longer an objective in the area, but I bleed straight silver in my blood, so I'm always down to clown. I know I have the boys looking bored in the area, so I commit with a little skinny dip into Set wants to make babies with me in private combo, so I gobble him up and start carrying his ass back to the site of his pending murder as he pops out, makes me laugh and then makes a run for it. I'm now planting myself firmly in the bot lane and my Slob Glob 5000 is on cooldown, so when Zed draws an X on my lady the best thing I can do is fail predict which little smoke shadow he's gonna port back to. But I lit the shitter on fire and let him get all dramatic, forgetting the steps to stop, drop and roll, so he dies off as I giggle at an ADC's funny attempts to do damage to me. Mr. Galileo wants to make burnt toast with my anus, but his duo already gave up on the cause, so it just turns into an uncoordinated tank spank off in the bot lane. Then to show I learn from my mistakes, the next time we overextend bot I bring an appetite so I can eat the shit out of Ashe when Zed tries to impregnate her, which if you were to ask me was quite well played, but certain things in life are just not meant to be, and successfully keeping an ADC alive in this game is definitely one of them. Anyways, with just 1.5 items at this point I have almost 3.5k health and a fat 150 armor, which means these naive young Charles Swabs in the bot lane don't stand an Ice Cube shot in hell's strict strip club of getting a happy ending, and thus before I can even show off my second big purchase of the night the bad guys opt into taking a Mickey D's break, and with that I'd like to warn you all of the power of tanks in the coming days. Rav out.